COVID-19 cases are much lower now than this time last year, but there are still some protocols in certain places at schools. We sat down with the Director of Health Services here in Greenville County to find out what you need to know if your child is sick.
We are here with Janet Loggy. She is the Director of Medical Health Services at Greenville County Schools. And Janet, thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure, thanks for having me.
So luckily, COVID-19 hasn't been as much of an issue the last year, but parents might still have some concerns, some questions about what to expect as we return to school. So as kids are going back to school, what can they expect for their children if they get infected with COVID-19?
If parents call the school and let us know that their student tested positive for COVID, we will instruct them according to DHEC requirements that the student needs to stay out of school for 5 days from when the symptoms started, and they may return on that day 6 provided they're fever-free for 24 hours without the use of fever-reducing medicine, and that they're feeling better and able to participate in class.
If they are in contact with someone at home, let's say their parent has COVID, are there any rules or guidelines for the children in the home?
There is no restrictions. Students can come to school even if they have a COVID positive person in the household. We would recommend that if they develop symptoms that they were tested and to ensure they're negative, but we do not require testing. We do not require mask wearing of any sort.
Okay. Using one of the at-home tests, is that okay to use?
Sure. DHEC says it's a safe test to use, and it is reliable to test for the virus COVID-19. And so we will continue to encourage parents to, test their children if they're exposed, and to report positive tests to us. But again, the school district does not require testing, and we will not require masking. DHEC no longer requires masking or testing to return to school.
Okay, and what about RSV? I know that can be a concern among many parents and their children.
Sure, RSV is another respiratory virus, and again, if a parent has a student who tests positive for RSV, we're going to make sure they let us know, and we will follow the criteria DHEC has listed for return to school after an RSV infection.
Does that vary how many days until they return, or is there a set number?
Typically for RSV, it's when they're fever-free and they're able to participate in class.
Okay. And then same with cold and flu, what are the rules around that?
Colds and flus, same, fever-free and symptoms alleviated to the point that they can participate in class. We do ask for a parent note saying that they are fever-free and they're feeling better and they can come back to school. So there's no day requirement for flu or RSV, but there is a requirement to be out 5 days if you were to test positive for COVID.
All right, Janet, thank you so much for joining us.
Sure.